and we're joined by Edis Mano of the Ellis Mano band. How you doing, Edis?
Hi, I'm very well. How are you, Lee?
Yeah, very good, man. Very good.
Good.
As we were just talking about just off air, last Friday you released your single Question. Like I said to you, the song landed with me just at the right time. I was busy in the midst of playing my blues rock show as part of the 24-hour show I was doing. What a song, man. The guitar riff on that has got some serious groove. I absolutely love that riff that you playing on that, man.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you.
Is there a particular sort of story behind that particular song or anything, or with it being a single, or just a case of it was a good tune to release?
Yeah, we was in the studio making our second album, and we are missing a song with really high power energy on it. And on that time, I listened a lot to Zeppelin and Rival Sons. I love the Rival Sons.
Me too, man. I'm a big Rival Sons fan.
And then I played some riffs, and every riff is written already, you know it. And then I came with that idea, and I don't know, we need maybe an hour or two, and the song was finished, and it was full of energy, and we liked a lot how it sounds. And then we needed a good Hammond on it, and Hammond organ, and I
don't think Hammonds get used enough in rock, man. I love the sound of a Hammond, and like there's a couple of bands I know, obviously more recent bands, and when I heard the Hammond on it, that was what made me go, that's going on, because I don't think the Hammond gets used enough in music. I love the sound of the Hammond.
Yeah, we love it too. Yeah, and we asked Lucky Doley from Australia. He's really and for me the best Hammond player in the moment, and he was in the COVID pause, sitting at home doing nothing like every musician, and he had time to play something. A few days later came back with that really killer track, killer solo, and we were happy, and we are happy since then.
Yeah, I bet. Actually, you've been kind enough to send me the album across, which is released. Is it the June time the album's getting released?
Yeah, 25th, June 25th. Yeah.
And I've got to say, like you say, that is like what I would call more sort of storming, I guess. Like you say, you wanted something with high energy with the Question. I've got to say, there's some other great. I mean, The Horrible Truth I thought was a fantastic opener for a record. That was really cool. Ambedo Mind, I really enjoyed it. There was this real smoothness to the playing on that. It almost had a slight flavour of Santana kind of thing going on with that, sort of playing that smooth. So really enjoyed that one, man. Were there any particular songs on the album that really stood out for you while you were recording it?
Every song is a challenge. We have so different styles on it. We play on Ambedo Mind is something like a soul, funk, jazz tune, and on the other side of the spectrum we have the Question or Horrible Truth, really rock and roll songs. And it's tough, or not tough. It's interesting. You need different skills. You have to be smooth on that slower and quieter songs, and you can give all your energy on the rock and roll songs. And it's a good thing for us because we love to be that versatile, not to play only one style. But it's not easy for Chris, our singer, because on that Ambedo Mind, he has that falsetto, that high voice.
I don't know on that.
That's
real
tough for him, yeah. But it sounds pretty well. Some people saying to us, it sounds a bit like Al Green. I don't know, maybe.
It's got that soulfulness to it, I guess. I never thought of that, but yeah, definitely got that soulfulness.
We love it, having some horns, some beautiful backing vocals on the tracks, and yeah.
That's cool, man. But like you say, you mentioned, I mean, I did think of Rival Sons listening to the album, not sort of, but I guess more sonically, because like you guys, they write albums that are quite, diverse, and they all do stuff that's more heavy, and then you get stuff like Bell Star or something, which is a lot more floaty and atmospheric. But growing up, who were your influences, man? Like, who made you want to pick up guitar and just play?
Jimi Hendrix.
Good man.
Yeah. I love him. I loved him the most when I was, I think, 18 till 22, and I think I played for 3 or 4 years only Hendrix in my stereo. I don't know, I played every song, I played every lick, and I love his playing, his songs, his singing, everything. And then you grow up, you go to Zeppelin, you go to Purple, you go to also guitar heroes like Steve Vai or Yngwie Malmsteen, Joe Satriani. And yeah, newer time, it's Tedeschi Trucks Band, Gary Clark Jr. I love Gary Clark Jr.
Yeah, he's amazing.
And John Mayer also. I love his pop blues playing. Not every song, but the older songs from Continuum album 2006 and stuff from that album is really high class. It's wow, so good.
I don't think John Mayer gets enough credit he deserves as a guitar player because he has that kind of pop element to it. I think sometimes he just gets overlooked, sadly. But like you say, the song craftsmanship is just amazing.
He's a brilliant songwriter. He's really, I think he was in a college when he realized, in a musical college, when he realized that it's not possible to be the best player on this planet because, you know, the speed and technique, they are so much young guitar players on YouTube and everywhere. They're killing guitars. But what's the best thing to be here? Being the best songwriter. And he, I think 3 years, he was all about songwriting, and he is really a very good songwriter.
I think you're right, though. I mean, as much as I like technical players as well, like for me, the soulfulness of a guitarist is what always will shine through. And the soulfulness of anyone's playing. I mean, I play bass myself, but it's always like soulfulness to it and something that plays from the heart. I mean, people like Joe Perry of Aerosmith, who's not technically, you know, he'll never play the same riff twice, exactly the same. He's not that, but there's a joyness about that slightly. I don't want to use the term sloppy because it sounds disrespectful, but the looseness in his playing and the soulfulness within it just shines through to me more than someone who's, no disrespect to anyone who plays like that fast, but is playing 20 notes in 4 seconds or whatever it might be. And technically it's really impressive, but it goes back to the songwriting thing that you say. When you play for the song, I think that shines through sometimes even more.
Hey, the same also with Jimmy Page. He is not the best. When I listen to the live records, I always hear some little mistakes, but it's not a mistake. It's a character. It's his soul in the guitar. That's the reason why I love also Mark Knopfler. He is not the biggest technique player, but he has soul in every tone more than other guitar players on a whole record. So
speaking of songwriting, how does the songwriting work with your band? Is it a case of everyone bringing their pieces to the pie, so to speak, or?
I have, from time to time, on the cell phone ideas. I play every day, and some, you know, from time to time, a riff coming from somewhere, I record it, and then every few weeks I meet with Chris, our singer, and we go to his place and jamming around with a few riffs, with a few chord progressions. And then when we have, I don't know, a refrain and the chorus and a few parts, we go directly to the band and try it out, if it sounds like a song or not. And I have an own studio. I'm here now in my studio, and we can do everything by ourselves. We don't need to rent the studio. We can everything do here. And so we try, if it sounds good, we record it. If not, next song. And it's not we don't have, how do you say, we don't go like other bands. So we are now 3 weeks in the studio and we have to write now songs. It's a continuous working process. So now we are thinking about, we have already 7 recorded songs for the next album, for the third, and we want 3 more. And now in the next few weeks, we're gonna record that without pressure, without, you know, looking on the minutes in that expensive big studios. That's the cool thing. Having today, almost every musician has an own studio. You know how it is. It's not that expensive how it was maybe 20, 30, 40 years ago. So it's pretty easy to do everything by yourself.
So for people who may not be, I mean, I'm just sort of starting discovering you guys, being honest. You know, I didn't catch your first album, unfortunately, but after hearing the stuff that's been getting sent across to me, I'm starting to delve back. But for people who aren't aware of your story, did you want to give them a sort of a bit of brief brand history about how you guys came to be and everything else?
We are from Switzerland. My parents are from Croatia, Bosnia. The other guys are half German, and we all grew up here in Switzerland. And since almost 20 years, I'm a professional sound engineer, live sound engineer. And I worked with all big names here in Switzerland, but only national, not international stars. And there I met all the other guys.
All right.
And I had for a long time in my mind to make something in that style with the best musicians that I know. And 2016, 17, I think it starts. And then we realize, hey, we sound somehow good, and let's make an album. And the first album we did the same, like the second, it was a 10-song album also with good songs on it. So check it out, people. And yeah, that's how we grew together. The first album came out 2019, and I think 7 or 8 months later, COVID stopped us. So we had not enough possibilities to play live. So we are pretty young. We are not young from the age. We are all between 40 and 55, 56, but well experienced. Nico, our drummer, he was playing for more than a decade in New York with really famous people. Severin, our bass player, is in Switzerland, the most wanted bass player. He's so cool on that instrument. And we have a lot of experience, and I think that's the reason why also our record sounds so different. Everybody bring his own personality on it, and we enjoy making that music, that different music.
I think it's important, like you say, like we're going back to the characters of playing again, like we were saying earlier, and like you're saying, everybody bringing their own character, and from where they see things, every musician will come through that, you know, where they've been, where they've learned on their journeys from, you know, when we've all picked up guitar at 12, 11, 13, however old you were, to where you're sitting now. You know, every mistake you made, every rubbish song you wrote, every rubbish gig you played, because we've all played them.
True.
You know, it's all part of your journey, and it all comes out in your playing and your experiences, and those stories. So, you know, all core members of your band end up being, you know, what that band is, and that's the only sound you guys should and will ever make. And to me, from what I'm hearing, mate, I'm really enjoying it. So thanks again for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Yeah.
So going back to the album itself, obviously it is out on June 25th, as you say. Are you releasing any more songs as singles before then, or is the question like teasing the audience, as it were?
No, we bring out next single on the June 25th. It's gonna be Johnny and Susie.
Oh, I like that one.
It's, like a little bit Springsteen.
I thought about the boss when I heard that.
Yeah, it is. The storytelling on that track and everything, we love that. And yeah, and then the good thing about COVID is I learned to make videos. All of the music videos I'm doing by myself.
Oh, sweet.
With a lot of help of the other guys. And that's the reason why I think now this and the next week we are making video number 5 and 6.
Oh, nice.
I think we will have 8 videos, clips for the whole album. And so we will put out every maybe 6 to 8 weeks another YouTube, Facebook, Instagram video out. So, you know, in these days you need graphics with the music. You can't only put out music. You always need something to watch. That's that time that we are now.
And I think it's just a natural progression that side of it, isn't it? Like, you know, when you had vinyls and stuff, you had the whole album cover to look at, and you had that as a visual, and going through the inner sleeves and everything else. And obviously,
absolutely.
Now that, I mean, I'm still old school in my thoughts. I like vinyl, I like CDs. I like physicality. But obviously, a lot of people are downloading stuff, and obviously, when you're downloading stuff, you don't get that visual aspect with the music. So I guess these days it is the music videos and YouTube videos, like you're saying, that provide people with that.
Yeah, and we love to make it. It's really a fun part because you have another putting another dimension on the song. It's the visual thing. It's strong, you know. Yeah. When you see the performance, I don't know, you watched already, I think, The Question, our drummer Nico, he's so into the song, and his face when he's playing, and that's important to see. I think you also have then more identity because the people watching you playing, performing, that's especially in this time when we can't making live music, it's really important for us. Yeah.
How have you guys found being in lockdown as musicians? Obviously, it's been a rubbish time for musicians. Like, as you say, you can't perform live. There's obviously a lot of restrictions. Are you guys all fairly close in distance? Could you still like meet up socially within regulations and stuff, or have you not been able to see each other too much?
We stopped for I think 2 months or something like that last year in March or April, something like that. We stopped also the recording of the album because then the horns, backing vocals, and some percussion stuff should be recorded, and then I think in May or June, we finished the recordings and everything. And since then, we are meeting normally. We did a lot of testing. When we go and do some stuff with more people, we test each other, or the self-testing and stuff like that. But we, I think, used this time pretty well to make some new music, to make a lot of videos and stuff like that. So I think that's the only way to be creative in this time. And
yeah. But you started making videos before the pandemic then, or was that like a...
No.
That's something you learned during the pandemic.
Yeah. I always wanted to learn that, but I'm, as a professional sound engineer, you are, I don't know, 100 to 120 gigs every year. I have kids, so you don't have time to learn something really from the bottom.
Yeah, really immerse yourself in it.
And I used that time, was on YouTube, because on YouTube you can learn how to build a nuclear bomb. I think you can learn everything. And I really watched something, try something. Oh, it doesn't look good. Why? Go to YouTube again, search why this doesn't look like it should be. And so I learned from day to day. And I don't know, after 4 or 5 months, I was really happy with the results. And the question is the first video I record.
Oh, is it?
It's not.
Oh, cool. Yes, I love this. Great video, man. So you didn't do too bad at all for your first one, man.
Thank you.
So one thing I like to ask on this show is just I like to play a lot of different music. So we'll often done sorts of rock and blues and that. So I always hand it over to my guests and ask them to pick 3 songs. So would you be so kind to pick 3 songs for us to play on the week where we air out your interview? So 3 influences or whatever bands you admire.
Heavy stuff, I don't know. Yeah, something from Jimi Hendrix should go on it. I love All Along the Watchtower. I know it's not his song, it's Bob Dylan's song, but I love that track more than...
It is one of those versions where, no disrespect to Dylan, that I think, just my taste, Hendrix is a better version. There's certain covers that just through personal taste, they're always going to be it, and that's no disrespect to Dylan, because you can't deny him as a songwriter. But no, I think Hendrix's version is the better version there. So
it is. I think when Bob Dylan heard his version, he played also live the version from Jimi Hendrix. Yeah. The second song, I think Moby Dick from Zeppelin. I love that track.
Oh yeah, good choice.
That's good. And maybe something newer. Tedeschi Trucks Band, Harlem. What's the name of the song? I think Harlem. Let's check. I have my computer on that side. Sorry.
No, you're fine.
Tedeschi Trucks Band. Midnight in Harlem.
Midnight in Harlem. Yeah.
Midnight in Harlem. Such a smooth, warm sounding, good song. Yeah.
Yeah, well, thanks for choosing those there. We'll line those up, man.
Thank you.
So what are the plans for you guys in the rest of the year? Obviously, you'll be out promoting the album, but you got any plans to do any shows sort of early next year, now that the live scene, fingers crossed, seems to be coming back?
Yeah. We have since a few weeks booking in Germany, they are working internationally, and now we planning some tours, some festival gigs. And I hope to come soon to UK, and play some shows there. But in the moment, it's everything open, and you know how it is. Yeah. Schedules are crazy, and and I think we want to finish the 3rd album we are doing now to be ready, and promoting our 2nd album, Ambedo, as good as we can. Yeah.
That's cool.
Heavy to make plans. We had so many plans, and then, it's really. I think the best thing is to wait until we can work normally, and then go out, because I hate making plans. You know, you are then happy, yeah, we have some gigs, blah blah blah, and then oh, it's canceled again, and oh, fuck that.
Yeah, it's like you say, it's been a really horrible year for sort of nearly enough, 18 months now. So it's
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, and for us, the whole band we're living from making live music, playing live music, working as engineers, as technicians, and it's also a tough time.
yeah.
No money for nothing. That's heavy. Yeah, but
Do you
yeah.
think as you guys are all like you say, you're all engineers, you're all technicians. Do you think that sort of, for want of a better term, makes you come to your music from a different place because you know on stage, as from the technical
Yeah.
point of thing, what is going to sound good, what is going to feed through. I always realised that when I was, we were going back to, we were talking earlier about those rubbish gigs that we've all played, but when I was coming from a sheer novice point of view, you think a riff sounds great in your bedroom or great in your rehearsal room, and then you go to play it in like an audience aspect, and you think this sounds awful. Maybe that was just
Yes,
the bass riffs I
yeah.
was playing. I don't know.
That's true. Yeah, I have the perspective from a recording engineer because I record also all our stuff.
You produced the album then as well?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So I have the perspective from the recording side, from the live engineer side, from the stage as a musician, and that helps a lot to know what's good and what's not good. Yeah. Know also that sometimes less is more. No, you are always excited, wants to have 20 guitars, 20 amps, tons of pedals, and sometimes you need only 2 guitars and 1 pedal. It sounds better than the wall of amplifiers and everything. Yeah, but it depends. I love that, to know every aspect. It's a good thing. The problem is also I can't. Sometimes it's heavy to focus on one thing. I'm there and I see, oh, I have a sound system, PA system that's not very well. Okay, what can I do? I go to our live sound engineer, talk with him instead, playing guitar and concentrate only on playing guitar because that's the main thing on this particular day then. And that's my little problem always, because I'm so, okay, cool. And yeah.
That's cool, man. Are you doing any sort of live streams or anything like that to sort of promote the album, or?
Maybe, we don't know, because here in Switzerland, I think in the next 2 months, all little clubs, maybe 300 to 500 persons capacity, are open again, and then if we can, we rather play live,
of course,
instead of It's
Yeah.
always crazy to play in a camera. You don't have a response. You have nothing. You play in a hole and I think we wait, because it's also the physical aspect when you are playing live. This the loudness.
Energy, isn't there?
Without that, it's not rock and roll. It's something else, but not rock and roll.
No, it's weird. Like, I know what you mean, because obviously there's been quite a few streams and stuff, and I've watched some, and some have been quite cool, and some of my favorite bands have done them, and I've sat and watched them, and it's weird from an audience member, as it were, sitting on my sofa watching it. Like, I don't sit down at a gig, I'm down, like anyone who, some people prefer to be in the seats in the theatre aspect, but me, I like to be down the front, in amongst the theatre of it, like you say, feeding off the energy that goes between a band and their audience. And so it's always to sit on my sofa, like me and my wife just sort of sat there going, this is weird. It's like I'm watching a film. It was cool to watch some live performances, but it was no cooler than watching, like, I don't know, Zeppelin's, Song Remains the Same DVD or something like that. They didn't have, obviously, because they're good for that, and I can totally understand why bands did it. And and because live shows weren't around, us music fans wanted a performance of some description. But equally, you can never replace being in a little club, or even, a stadium or a festival or whatever size gig you're at, but that human interaction, that being in that moment, you just can't replace that.
That gives every musician so much back, that's so important. You know it as a musician. Without audience, it's like, yeah, it's not the same. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, man. Well, at the beginning of the interview, we're going to play the question, obviously. But what song of yours would you like us to play at the end of your interview? Maybe something from your first album, give people a bit of a...
Yeah, play Whiskey from the first album.
Play Whiskey.
Whiskey, it's a great rock and roll tune.
Cool, man. Thanks for your time, man. It's been really cool to talk to you.
Lee, thank you very, very much. I hope to see you soon somewhere. We hope next year to come to the UK. I don't know, where are you, in London, or where are you?
I'm in Bury St. It's about 2 hours from London, so
okay.
London probably be the closest dates for the tours and stuff.
Yeah.
So definitely have to come. Yeah, I'll be keeping an eye out for dates, man. So hopefully we'll go meet you properly and have a beer and yeah.
Of course.
Anything I can ever do to help promote anything you guys are releasing, just get Pete to give me a shout, man, and it's done.
Thank you very much, Lee.
No problem. And enjoy the rest of the evening, man. It was good to talk to you.
You too. Bye. Thanks.
Bye.